Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, July 15th. I'm Marcus Veal. Thank you so much for starting your day with us right here on Sunrise. Senator Ron Wyden was in Grants Pass yesterday morning holding a press conference about affordable housing solutions, discussing legislation he's been working on that he says appeals to both sides of the aisle. Josephine County Commissioner Dan DeYoung resigned yesterday. It comes on the heels of an incident NBC5 previously reported on when he told the county finance director, quote, "Sit on my lap." Take a look. Washington seems on track to avoid a partial government shutdown tomorrow. A funding package is in the Senate today after passing in the House. But a second budget deadline this month could be harder, as Amy Kiley reports. We told you yesterday about the Macy's closures nationwide and the unknown status of our local store here in Medford. Well, we have some good news for you. Still ahead on Sunrise this morning, today will be the first Friday celebration in Grants Pass. How you can get involved in the start of this year's event series. If you live in Ashland and are thinking about buying an electric vehicle soon, you might want to hold off just a little longer. 8 new hotels are in the process of being built or developed in the Medford area, and city officials expect tourism to increase in the coming years. Welcome back. The Oregon Shakespeare Festival 2024 season is opening this week. Joining us this morning is Rosa Josie, Associate Artistic Director at OSF. Rosa, thank you so much for being here. Cowhorn Vineyard and Garden in Jacksonville is on the intersection of biodiversity and regeneration. Since 2005, the 117-acre vineyard has embraced the surrounding ecosystem rather than rely on chemicals and harsh fertilizers.
What that really does is provides us with the best fruit possible and the ability to create sustainability in the sense that it's always going to be getting better. The property will get better, the crops that grow here, the gardens that we use for our restaurant and our tasting room food.
Vadrine says in the wine industry, there are products that eliminate fungi and diseases to mitigate risk. By letting nature do its thing, he says Cowhorn can avoid problems just by paying attention to the land.
We avoid the big problems, but we actually come up with something that's like more compelling and more interesting because of all that life in the vineyard, all that life in the winery.
Tim Payne, the head of culinary operations, says having a plan for everything that comes out of the garden is what makes Cowhorn a sustainable ecosystem.
We harvest about 2,000 pounds of asparagus. That's a lot of asparagus ends. And so those ends, what we can't use, will then compost so it becomes useful for the garden the next year.
And as we continue to celebrate planet Earth, here are some recommendations they both have so that we can all better protect our home.
I think it's good to just focus on, buying local and buying organic and regenerative and just trying to support those kinds of farmers.
Thinking about what happens after you consume something, reusing bags for groceries.
In Jacksonville, Marcus Veal, NBC5 News. For 20 years, there have been 2 staples in the music program at SOU. This is Terry Longshore's 24th year at SOU teaching the sticks, and Alexander Tudonoff's 27th year teaching the keys.
I never thought that when I was starting here, that I would still be as excited about teaching and sharing my craft with the young generations.
When Longshore was a student, he wasn't sure if music was his calling. After a short career as a business loan officer, Longshore says he realized he wasn't really going to be happy unless he was doing something with music, even more so when working with students.
I think what made me want to work in education was realizing that I could have a career to inspire young students while also a career performing, composing, being active as a musician.
Tudonoff says music education is one of the few remaining things that still has an apprenticeship and still be able to teach what you preach.
I feel that this is my duty to pass on all the great secrets that I was introduced to at a young age.
And the balance of still being able to perform themselves while paying it forward in the classroom is what makes both say they are fortunate to do what they do.
I'm learning from them as much as they're learning from me, so that's what keeps me going. It's exciting, it's always fun, it's always different. We're always doing new music, exploring new composers, just having a great time.
A lot of good talented colleagues of mine here are doing great things. I feel extremely proud for the work that we do here.
I'm here with Ryan Ingalls of Crunch Time Rec and Escape Rooms. Ryan, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for having us. That's a pleasure.
What was the inspiration for Crunch Time? How did it come to be?
Crunch Time was kind of founded of necessity. The owner, Robin Downward, had a extensive background in haunted houses and in theater. So weirdly, escape rooms and rec rooms just seemed like the natural thing to do, especially since ways to entertain oneself in a more pandemic-friendly world were kind of a necessity, especially when it came to stress relief.
For those unfamiliar, what's a rec room?
Well, a rec room, and that's spelled W-R-E-C-K, is a room where one takes household objects that no longer have a use or are too broken or defunct and reduces those items to memories in more ways than one. Rage room is like the general term, but we felt that that was a little too aggressive or made it sound too much like we were trying to be therapy. We're focusing on more of the recreational and fun aspect rather than on the anger aspect.
Why here in Medford?
Well, Medford's home. Both the owners live here. I live here, but also because, to quote one of our founders, downtown was a bit of a ghost town here in Medford for a long time. So it just felt like this was one of the kind of things that would help bring it back to life, kind of revitalize, give people a reason to hang out and do stuff and find fun things to do downtown.
Plans for the future?
We're building our next escape room, which will be more post-apocalyptic as we speak and should open in October. And of course, our founder is doing some seasonal escape rooms over on 3rd and Front Street, where is the Nightmare Chamber Haunted House, which he also runs and also founded, which of course will also be open in October. Beyond that, we're just hoping to keep growing things and keep branching out and keep reaching out to the community as best we can.